Okay, Razer Mixer. It is a little box for controlling your little audio, right? You got faders on it, which you can assign to various things, and you got lots of little inputs and outputs. The main thing you're going to be using these faders for, though, is using virtual outputs. Essentially, the virtual outputs lets you sort of split out various parts of your PC audio into separate channels, so you can control the volume separately. Razer have named these different outputs music, chat, game, and system. So yeah, you can basically choose what you want to route to which, and then faders. You don't have to be very strict. You can put whatever you want in those outputs. You could send chats to music if you want to really confuse yourself. It's more there to quick labeling for ease of use, because those are probably the things you're going to want to output to different channels. So I do the button, it fades the thing. You get that. You know what a fader is. You're not dumb. But yeah, it's not just the virtual outputs you can control with this. You can get this to assign faders to the physical inputs if you want to. So physical inputs on here, I've got a microphone jack on the front. You can use that, or you can use let's unplug this. The XLR input for an XLR mic if you want that. You could have a line in as well if you're mixing in, I don't know, you could mix in your phone if you wanted to. You could play music through your phone, plug that in through the line in, and then control the volume of that. Or if you've got a soundboard, maybe an external, maybe you're using a phone as a soundboard.
What's the deal with streaming? I realize I don't actually have a follow-up to that.
You could fade that up and down, and then optical as well, and that's basically for consoles. I don't know if many other things use optical cables nowadays. And because this is basically an audio interface where you plug in your microphones and it powers them up and makes them all run fine, the quality you'll get of it will depend on the microphone you use. So you have a super expensive microphone, yeah, you're going to get better audio because it's a better mic. That said, there is some post-processing you can do to better improve the quality of your mic. I'll show you what it does with this mic. This is a MXL 770. It's like £100. It's like £100 condenser mic. But yeah.
Okay, but what does this mic even sound like? I can hear myself because it's got some mic monitoring, which is good. It is slightly delayed because it's converted into digital before it comes into the ears, but that does mean that you get all the effects that you put on it. You can hear all the effects you're doing to it. So yeah, mic monitoring is on. We've got a noise gate here to block out a little static background noise. You can see I've got this OBS meter on the side of the mic input. I say the mic input, it's the mixer output of basically just the mic. It's the voice chat. I've put it into OBS, but it's turned up to 100. So you can see there's a little bit of like background noise. I can't actually hear that, and I don't know whether it's coming up in recording yet in the actual recording. I don't know whether you can actually hear it or whether it's just saying there's noise. But we can use a noise gate to get rid of it either way. So now when I stop talking, yep, it done go. We've also got a compressor, so you can sort of squish down your audio into a focused range, bring up the lows, squash down the highs if you want it. So if we turn that on, I'm going to get a bit louder, and just because I got the makeup gain to make my quiet louder, and it'll also bring down my highs. So that's fine. I'm going to turn it back off for now, just so you can hear it raw, unaffected. I'll turn off the noise gate as well, because we've also got EQ stuff, right? Default flat EQ. You can have a 10-band EQ, you can set it up, or you can affect it with just bass, mids, and trebles, which is easier, less control, but just for quick setup if you need it. But there are some presets here for you if you want them. Radio voice, if this sounds different, we'll do a palette cleanse back to default, and then we'll go on to balanced. How does balance sound in your ears? And then back to default, and then we'll go on to mid-focused. How does mid-focus sound to you? Back to default, and then a custom, obviously. This is all over the place, but you can change it for your voice, basically. which is good. But then we've also got some effects here, and you can use the mute button. If you hold down the mute button, you can turn some of these effects on. So that's pretty cool. You got some voice changer effects,
which this is where playback for me, it jams my speech because it's doing a bit more processing, so it comes through slightly more delayed. So it kind of makes it hard for me to talk. But you can hear the effect live.
High pitch.
Monster.
Cartoon.
And those are just slightly different pitches. And then you've also got echo and reverb. If you want it, there's a few variations again, like the library, chapel, arena, marble room, and small concert hall, or custom again. Do whatever you want. But what is cool is because on the mic setup, you can switch between XLR and the 3.5mm jack. So I could plug in like a lavalier mic, right? I clip this onto me, and then switch it over. I'm a little bit quiet. Turn me up, and then you can hear me. But it's a quick way to switch between different mics if you need it. So now I can piss off, you know? I can, so you know, if you want to do like a cooking stream or something, or you just need to do some washing up, you can do that. You could just quickly switch between your mics. Down to like dig around too much. You can swap a mic out. And you could also like still have your mic effect on. Like I could still have like an equalizer on this. Or okay, so we've talked about the inputs for the mixer, but there's also a ton of outputs. There's 4. So yeah, there's two physical outputs. There's one on the front here. This is this playback mix, is what it's labeled as, and this is basically headphones. The little headphone icon. That's your playback mix, and so you can hear whatever you need. You can set yourself up to hear your microphone if you need that. Probably you want to hear everything through your own playback mix. But then also line out. It's a 3.5mm, just a normal aux cable out. And now, if you've got a multi-PC setup, multi-streaming PC, you've got one streaming PC, you've got a gaming PC, this is what you'd use to send audio from your gaming PC over to your streaming PC. Or if you're like me and are a pleb who only has the one PC, what you can do is you can route it to like I plug it into this, just a speaker. But yeah, then you've also got the 2 virtual outputs. You've got 2 virtual outputs. You got your stream mix and your chat mix. Chat mix is basically stuff you would want like your teammates to hear, and then stream mix, which is basically you plug it into your streaming software. You put it in OBS. And then it's just one audio source in OBS, and it's everything mixed in. And it's very simple. Very simple, nice way to do it.